What up, everybody? Welcome to the 505 interview series. Big D coming to you today. Well, from the 505 patio lounge. Yes, I can't believe it. Beautiful day, not inside, not going to be sweating and that sauna in there. So it's a beautiful day out. Excited for today's show. But before we get started, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Hey, your likes help generate more in the analytics on that, so it gets out to more people, and more people get out to have fun with us out there. Also, pinned in the comment section in YouTube and down in the description on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn is my link tree. Go click it. Go support my advertisers, sponsors, and preferred retail partners. They help continue to keep all the programming going on the show that you love and enjoy, and your support goes a long way in making sure that continues to happen. Whether you're looking for sticks, accessories, I got you covered. Take advantage of the exclusive promo codes that are only available to my viewers out there by using it. Hey, I'm saving you some coinage right there. And finally, reminder, again, I'm teaming back up with Dallas Smoke Fest. I'm excited about it. Last year, I had so much fun. And if you missed out, don't have FOMO this year. Go get it. There's still some early bird tickets left. Get on over to DallasSmokeFest.com. And when you check out, use in that code section there, 505 review, and get your tickets. Come hang out with us this November in Dallas. It'll be a lot of fun. I'm excited to be back for year 2. Speaking of Dallas, my guest tonight, well, she owns one of the premier lounges in the DFW area. Of course, former professional athlete in the WNBA, a coach, an educator, teacher, all-around jack of all trades out there. And, of course, she's also one of my favorite guests, one of my favorite people to talk to. Coach has always got something up her sleeve, something that she's working on. And of course, you know, if you're ever in the DFW area, you got to make sure you swing by Blowin Cigar Lounge. It is a time. So without further ado, let's bring on our guest tonight from Blowin Cigar Lounge, Coach Edwina Brown. Welcome, Coach.
What's up, man? How are you?
I'm always good when I get to talk to you.
Oh, you made my day with that one.
How are you?
I'm good. Can't complain. We'll do no good.
So we got to catch up last year on the show, bringing back again this year to catch back up. What's new? What's going on?
Woo! A lot is going on. What's new? I am about to celebrate a birthday coming up at the first of the next month, but we're going to celebrate at the end of this month on June 28th. Yeah, man. I mean, I find myself doing the math on. I'm like, am I really about to be 47? Like, let's do some math here. I'm 47.
Time flies. I know. I know. I'm going to be 43 this year, and
okay.
My body's feeling it. I stood up from picking my kid up, and I tore my knee.
You tore your knee from picking up your kid.
I did. I was on the ground, and she grabbed hold of me, and I had her in my arms, and I was standing up, and I felt something pop in my knee, and I'm like, oh man. I was like, oh man, age. And then the next day it was like this big, and I was like, oh man.
What did you tear though specifically? Like you say you tore your knee.
Yeah, I tore my a total tear of the MCL and a partial tear of the PCL.
Inner and outer.
Yeah, you know, and so they're like, well, you know, you can. I'm like, don't worry about it. I'll deal with it later. I got work to do. It'll be like when I had my shoulder redone. I'm like, I'll take care of it, you know, and it went all the way until I couldn't move my arm anymore.
Yeah.
I'm like,
so do you have to have surgery? Are they going to do anything, or they have you on exercises, or what's going on?
Right now they gave me a shot to see how I react over the next month, and then, you know, if I got to have surgery, I'll just kind of deal with it until like September when my slow season comes into play. You know?
Right.
So yeah, age, it's catching up.
It is. It's relentless.
I'm honestly shocked that so, you know, I've I've ripped the ACL in that same knee 3 times in football, and yet this is the first time I've done stuff with the other ligaments in the knee.
Well, the ACL is like, look, we're done. You got to tell something else because the ACL is done over here.
I had so the second and third time I had it done, they did a ligament graft from my ankle.
Mm. It sounds like you have some bad joints, sir.
You know, years of football and baseball and almost 20 years of work in manual labor.
Gotcha. That'll do it.
So, yeah, old age, it's catching up to me, but I'm not going to let it slow me down. So, well, Coach, so you've kind of got, since we last talked, you've kind of gotten involved with a few, I guess, added on to more of your coaching. Well, not so much the coaching, but more of your giving back to the community and outreach programs that you have.
Yeah. To be honest, a lot of it is a little bit has been put on the side burner, so not necessarily the back burner, but it's been put on the side burner. What I wanted to jump into more in the last year and a half was my foundation, and I wanted to give back to my high school first. And you would be surprised. Once I had everything set up, they started to first they were, weren't very good at communicating and conversing, getting dates required for the scholarship program, and they weren't meeting deadlines. And so it's like, hey, I have a life here, and there's certain time frames that I need to know things. But I'm looking through applications and reading essays. I need these by certain dates, yada yada yada. So because deadlines were missed, I missed giving in 2024. So this year's kind of been crazy with the lounge. 2024 to 2025 has been sort of bananas with the lounge. So I'll look to dive back into that in 2026.
All right. Sounds good. What else has been going on?
Whew. I think since we last spoke, well, I know I saw you. I believe in New Orleans we saw each other.
Yes.
But since I was first on a year ago, right, June of 2024, I have now separated from my business partner. So it is solo dolo. So I'm now a single member LLC here with the business. So it's all on me. So it's kind of been like drinking from a fire hose, to be honest with you, getting things transferred over and still running the day-to-day operations and trying to be, She-Ra and Wonder Woman and all of those female heroes. So I'm just now catching my balance and woo-sign a bit. So that's very interesting. It's almost like in-game adjustments, right? Luckily that background is like in-game adjustments, and we're talking about adjusting in the fourth quarter, the last 5 minutes of the game. So that's how things have been feeling these last 365.
How'd you enjoy New Orleans this year for PCA over Vegas? Did you like it better or?
It was different. I didn't like it better only because, we're familiar with Vegas. We sort of know the lay of the land. We know where all of the spots, the after hours, and who's doing what. And there was more of a connectivity there. Everyone was kind of off balance with New Orleans. One, that it was new. I think 10 years ago, 2015, I was not in the industry then, but I think that was the last time that it was there. And then for me personally, I ended up getting sick. I thought it was just allergies, very bad allergies, but it turned into a complete head cold. So I was miserable. I could barely taste, my cigars because I was so congested and my palate was all messed up. So I know we're back there next year. So I need to figure out if it's a New Orleans thing, New Orleans thing because of the water, or if I just wasn't prepared for the allergies to take me like they did.
The one thing I enjoyed about it was that it was like kind of like you hit midnight and everything kind of just wound down and you weren't out until 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning like in Vegas. It was
Oh,
like,
you weren't?
oh, I
Just
wasn't.
kidding.
I wasn't. It's like
Just
things
kidding.
started winding down. I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'm gonna head back. I head back to the hotel. I was in bed by 12:30. I was like, oh, this is kind of nice.
That was the now did you go between PCA and then there was like one or two other events? Were you doing all of those?
Yeah, so I did some of the New Orleans Smoke Fest events that were around. That was a lot of fun as well, and a lot of PCA board members were at some of the NOLA events, and they were talking and they want to really incorporate in a lot of the NOLA events into next year's PCA. So
Gotcha.
good for them for that. But yeah, there
Gotcha.
was a lot of there was a lot of fun. I mean, I was complete, like you said. I'm so familiar with Vegas that I was outside like my land is. We're like
Right.
the names when you're going into Uber like 3 times on an Uber. I like selected the wrong street because it was too similar to a street that something
Right.
on.
No, I understand for sure.
Yeah. So.
I did like how I felt like everything was more in close proximity to each other, to one another. All the events outside of the convention center, trade show floor, I felt like honestly you could walk to if you wanted to, a mile away. With some of the after hours or the after show events. Besides, I think I took part in Definition had an event that was like 30 minutes away. That was the furthest. And then there was one other La Roa that we ended up Ubering there. That was a great event, but for the most part, everything was where you could, walk to and from. I walked every day from the hotel to the convention floor, and then everybody just kind of jumped in an Uber and went 3 miles to the to the next spot. It wasn't that far, so I did like that, and we were all pretty much at the same locations. So it wasn't like here's 100 people, at 10 different spots. Everyone was at 3 different spots. So I thought that was a pro to being in New Orleans.
So bringing in now that you have sole control over the lounge and shop as you're out there, did you bring in any new brands, or were you impressed with any new brands you've never heard of before that you were thinking of bringing in?
My goal was to continue to build the relationships that I had, and to divide the budget accordingly. Going out there with a certain amount, a certain number in mind, and knowing the relationships that I had to continue. I'm still in the growing root phase. I think I'm still growing, roots, especially after the pivot that took place a year ago. It's really solidifying. Um, it's solidifying and stabilizing what's next. So it was more of me to stay connected, to build those connections, um, and then just to put eyes on, take information, and to consider, other products that I wanted to bring in. There was a company called Ritmo Cigars. I'm sure you've had them. You smoke pretty much everything. But I remember them before they actually were established. It was almost like they were walking around PCA. I think this was either 2019 or 2020 was COVID. So then 2021, they were walking around just kind of in the food court area, meeting people, handing cigars out. And I took some and I ended up bringing them in, just off of, we had great conversations, so off of GP, so to speak. And then they kind of disappeared, and now they're back, full-fledged company staff. They had a booth and everything, so that was good to reconnect with a company like that, more of a boutique. boutique cigar, which are cigars that I would like to display more in my lounge.
All right. Good. I say I was impressed with the amount of small and boutique brands that were making their first time appearance there this year. It was really nice to see, especially quite a few brands that I over the last few years I've been really high on and really wanted more people to to get their product in people's hands. So I was glad to see that they were there and
Right.
that they took that jump. And a lot of the brands I talk to usually the first year's rough, and they're like, "Man, I had such a great show," and I'm happy about that. I'm glad to see that shops are growing. The shops are growing their boutique side of things.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's good. Just to offer customers something new. Um, I think the traditional or the grandfathered, the older cigar companies. They're always gonna exist, and you're always gonna have some of those SKUs sitting on the shelf. But then it's the smaller, newer, a fresher, a different look of a cigar. You always want to have those available because people come in and they're like, "What's new?" That's one of the first things I get. What's new? Or what are you smoking right now? Like what cigars are you on? So it's always fun to show them something new.
My favorite is, have you heard of this brand? And I'm like, where you been? I've been telling people how great it is for 4 years. Where you not following my content?
You're not following me?
You're not following me? What do you think, man? I smoke their stuff all the time. Come on. Yeah, I have. Good to see Mr. Shawan Mims there from part of Alliance Cigars in the chat.
What's up, bro?
And you took part in the Dallas Smoke Fest last year with your lounge, as well as being part of a Q&A session out there, which was fantastic. I love that. That was a lot of fun. I really liked the Q&A session, and then your lounge was popping. Holy smokes. That was my first time there, and I was like, is it always like that here? And everyone's like, yeah. It's like, oh.
Not always. Not always. Events, yes. But a normal day, like I'm at the shop now, so the music is down a little bit, and it's not as rowdy. Mondays tend to be my slower day anyway, so there's not a lot of background noise. But events, it can get bananas. It for sure can get that way. But for the most part, there's some traditional hours, like the old school cigar vibe conversation, people, reading a book or things like that. There are times like that. And that's not good for business. That's not good for my numbers. But yeah, but no, that was crazy. It was packed out. I thought we had a great showing. Was able to have Definition in the building. With Jamon and I are very close, so it was good that we were able to collaborate and come up with a good offering of what to show him. We pretty much had everything available in his portfolio, which is always great because he has now I think 12 SKUs. So, and they're all different and they're all good. So that was very good. The DJ rocked it out. We were able to put together a good show. There was a ton of raffles. People sent stuff in to raffle out. It was really good.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot of fun. I think that Q&A was my favorite event out of everything from the Smoke Fest. Yeah, I love that so much. It was really good. You and Chevalier did a fantastic job moderating that Q&A. Yeah, it was by far my favorite event that I attended.
Why so? I love it.
One, you had different the different individuals that you had sitting up there from the different backgrounds of the industry, from the manufacturer to a brand, to social media, to legislative issues up there, and the way that they were able to take on the questions and give you a more in-depth look at what's really at the industry, and that you got to see, that I think a lot of people who attended that don't get to see a lot of that side of of the industry. They see just this,
Right.
but
Right.
you know, where they got to see, you know, from the manufacturer standpoint, from the brand standpoint, from the lounge standpoint, from the legislative side, and then from the social media side out there, how they all kind of come together and work as one, and the questions were great, and the way I
Thank you.
really enjoyed it. I thought it was
Thank
really
you.
well done and really put together. So
Thank
I
you.
enjoyed it a lot.
A lot of prep work, you know, and it's always fun to work with. I call him Yule, but Chevalier for the people. It's always fun to work with him, and I thought we were able to come up with, you know, a good core group of questions, and we just kind of played off each other. You know, we continued to keep that communication, eye contact. We kind of knew the order in which we wanted to hit some of the questions, but no, that type of stuff, you know, that speaks to the educational side of me, the educator, the coach side of me, the speaking side of me. I absolutely love that, and I'm glad you enjoyed it, and I hope, you know, I wish that there were more people. There was a good amount of people, especially for the lounge where we were. I think the seats were taken, but I think that more people could benefit from information like that if they were really interested in it. I think we do very well at the party end and then going through sticks, but just to understand that there's a bigger world that's out here outside of that particular cigar shop that you visit, and then there's so much, there's such a fight to even be able to enjoy this, to have this and to enjoy this indoors, inside. So there's so much, there's politics behind it, and just to kind of open that book and kind of touch on that and talk about that, that warmed my heart.
Yeah, it was good. So I'm looking forward to when they start putting out the scheduling of what's happening this year. That there's another, you know, really Q&A educational seminar like that, because, you know, I'm gonna put my hand up and request to go and work that event again.
Okay. Okay. Good
I
stuff.
enjoy that. I enjoy that learning aspect, and you know, and hearing from everybody on the different sides of things was really interesting to me, and I thought, you know, because
Right.
you know, a lot of stuff I knew, but then there was some other stuff I didn't know that now I know. So I enjoyed picking that up, and
Yeah.
I use that in, you know, what I do. So
Right. Right.
yeah, so yeah, that's one thing I hope that they bring back. I don't know. We had a meeting yesterday, but they didn't have any event stuff finalized. So
Gotcha. Gotcha.
I'm hoping.
Well, yeah.
I'm hoping. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to coming back. Looking forward to coming back to your lounge again and hanging out and having a blast like I did last year.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it'd be great to see you. It always is fun to chop it up with you. And you know, you're so shy.
Oh, I'm
Well,
not.
you pretend to be shy,
I'm not.
and I'm like, Daniel, like, you gonna talk or what, brother? Like,
I look. I'm an observer. I'm not shy, but I'm an observer. I just hang back. You know, I throw my 2 cents in when I need to, and if, you know, somebody asks me a question, I answer. But I'm an observer. I just like hanging out and listen. I like listening. I like listening to people talk, and I like listening to people's stories and what their life and their experiences out there. You know,
right,
I find
right,
that interesting, you know, which is why I kind of do because I find everybody interesting, because everybody has a different background and a different story about how they got to where they're at. And I think it's interesting. And I know that there may be other people out there too that find that stuff interesting about people's life. So I just kind of hang back and observe.
right. Well, that's why you do what you do. And that's why you created this platform.
That's right. You know,
Yeah,
I wanted to get out there and showcase just not brands, but I wanted to showcase people.
gotcha.
You know, give people, show people, you know, here's this person, and this person has an interesting life and an interesting story. It's there. Like you've got you own a lounge. You played profession. You were a professional athlete at the highest level. You were a coach at a high level. I mean, like that is it. To me, I find that interesting. It's like here's a professional athlete who enjoys smoking and owns a shop. Like that's cool. Like I don't care what anybody says. I think that's cool.
I don't know. It's hard sometimes to see yourself and to understand, how you're viewed from others. For the most part, we can say you don't care, but you do care. But it seems that, it's unique, that the athlete has that's female. Let's put that
Yes,
on there
a
first.
female professional athlete. Yes,
There you go. That's
another layer to
yeah,
awesome.
exactly. That smoked cigars and then dove into entrepreneurship with opening a cigar shop. So I understand that. I understand that's rare. Whether you know peel off the layers of female athlete, female and in cigars, a female that smokes. There's so many layers to it that make people say, "Oh, really? Oh, that's cool." So I'm just like, "Yes, I'm just me. I'm just me."
You see, even people in the chat are like, "Yeah, that's cool." Like, yeah. I mean, how often, like in in the cigar industry side of things, when professional athletes get involved, it's usually just out to promote something they put their name on.
Slap their name on it. Yeah.
But here, you took that extra step of I'm not putting my name on a cigar, but I'm putting my name on a lounge, and I'm taking a huge jump.
No, it was a huge jump, is right. But no, not putting my name on a cigar yet. Yet.
So we gonna get some blowing smoke house blends coming soon.
We have some house blends. I actually had cigars that were labeled with blowing smoke, and then that particular producer, I don't know what happened, just kind of went MIA. It's like, hey, I need to reorder type of thing. So, a lot of people are like, when are you going to blend your own cigar? I probably get that, a dozen times a year. And it's the more people ask you, it's like, maybe I need to think about this. So it is something that interests me, but I haven't had the time to really just dive into it. But I've been meeting a lot of people. That my network has kind of shifted and changed in the last 6 months, which is a good thing. So there are people that are talking blending and going over to DR or to Nick and picking some leaves and putting some stuff together. So it's just more about when the time permits, and because that's a whole project. That's a whole project. And as I mentioned, making sure that this was stable and that the roots were set again before taking on something of that drastic of a magnitude.
See, now you got me excited that I'm going to see something as you out there putting your name on something. Like now, that's got me stoked. Like that's cool. I mean,
that is cool. I saw something. I don't know what, maybe 9 months ago, and you actually know some of the boutique and newer cigars more than I do, just because you have your hands on in many different areas. People are sending you stuff to promote and things of that nature. But I did see that, what was it? I think Kelsey Plum, they were trying to coin her as the first female athlete with a cigar. Did you try that cigar?
yes, but she was supposed to come on the Tuesday show with Brandy and I to promote it.
And what happened?
They canceled. They canceled that Monday.
The day before.
The day before. Yeah, like they had sent me the cigars, and so they'd sent me the cigars. So I had them for about 3 weeks. I sent Brandy hers, and then like we were all ready to go, and then I get a text message from the promotional people going. They had to bail out for something else, and then I found out from some other people there on it that it was her people, not her, that bailed out because she didn't have cigar people doing all this. She got
A marketing team,
she had a marketing team
promoters.
for that are not familiar with the industry side of things on this, and so
That's happening. That's a thing.
yeah, and so because I wasn't a big enough platform for them, they bailed out on it, and the person who introduced me to all this on it told them they were stupid because I'm the guy who does. If you got a small brand out there, I'm the guy you come and see. Like you come do my show because
Right.
nobody. Yeah, and so it's like, yeah, you're dumb, and so they blew me off to do big media, and even they kind of didn't even latch onto it because I saw that there was just a little spread in Cigar Aficionado, and there was a little spread in Cigar Snob, and some of the bigger content creators did like just a little bit, but she didn't do any public interview on it, like on anybody's platform. Like she was gonna be on, on my Instagram feed.
Yeah, I want to know. I would have loved to chime in if that show would have happened. I want to see if she actually knows her tobacco, and did they just put her name on it, or did she actually have a hand in the process and in the blending?
I think she just
put her name on it.
I think she put her name on it. Look, she made a name for herself after the Aces won the championship, and she was the only one there smoking. And then she did it again when they went back to back. So, that kind of gave that notoriety out there for her. And so I think that a brand reached out and was basically going to promote her and her brand on that. But I've never seen them in the shops anywhere. And
well, I mean, look, marketing, opportunity for her to maybe get an endorsement to make money. Because God knows we need to supplement that WNBA salary. So, kudos to her for having that. I actually think that she does smoke. Knowing a little bit of her, she's new to smoking, but her ex-husband is aficionado. Well, somewhat, but I know he worked with Placencia a little bit, so that's probably where she picked it up. But yeah, I'd be interested to see if she actually knows her stuff.
I was just interested. I wanted to talk, and I think what I think was because it wasn't like this show where it would have been a one-on-one with me and her, and it would have just been kind of talking about whatever. It was, the Tuesday show is a fast-paced show. It's a live review. You're in that hot seat. You're having two people that you don't know sit there and critique the cigar that you're putting your name on. And based upon what my friend told me on there was that he thought that was more of the reason why, not so much my platform wasn't big enough, was that she was gonna sit there and she was probably gonna get some questions from both of us in regards to the blend on it, and probably answer it. Which it's fine if she couldn't, because it's all about the cigar. If the cigar is good, that's all.
Yeah, they shouldn't have set up the time. Like, if they understood your show and what the platform for that Tuesday night, then they shouldn't have set up the interview.
I offered both. I offered the Monday show or the Tuesday show, and they wanted. I think they wanted to do the Tuesday show because Brandy's my co-host, and so it would be having another woman on the show on there. But but I'm like, yeah, but Brandy's a beast. Like, she knows her shit. She don't hold back anything on that. So I don't know. I think there was probably a multitude of reasons why, and look, it is what it is, and I'm okay with it. But I did smoke it. It was
and okay. It was just okay.
It's okay.
That's all you got for me. That's all you got for us.
It was okay. It didn't blow my
True
mind.
Daniel fashion is just okay.
Yeah,
All
it,
right.
it didn't blow my mind. I thought it was okay. You know, it was, you know, I'm not going to say it was kind of pedestrian on it, but I was kind of expecting a bit more.
What? It was pedestrian.
Not quite pedestrian. The next level up from pedestrian. I wanted a bit more. You know,
Yeah.
I don't have a I don't have a problem with a milder cigar, but the flavors have got to pop, and
Right. For sure.
when the flavors aren't popping in a mild cigar, it's just eh, eh. It was okay. You know,
I got you.
it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. You know, and it didn't blow my mind, but it was okay. You know,
Mm. Okay, we're gonna leave it there. Let's
yeah.
let's leave it there.
Yes, I mean it's not like it's the Roar, you know, one of my top 10 cigars from 2024 or anything.
Oh, there's shameless plug. Shameless plug.
Yeah, I yeah, but I'd have her on if she wanted to come on and just talk about cigars and she just wanted to shoot the shit. I'd have her on the Monday show anytime.
Yeah.
You know, she's more than welcome to
Okay.
come on.
Yeah.
You know, she can talk about whatever she wants. You know, it's an open platform for anybody to talk about whatever. She can talk about cigars or basketball. I don't care.
Gotcha.
You know, I can. You know, I'm not the biggest basketball person out there, but I know enough to to kind of hold down a conversation on it.
You sure about that?
I know enough. I know enough.
Okay.
You know, you know, when I was younger, I used to be huge. I used to be really big into basketball when I was younger. But then as I got older and I started, you know, I wasn't tall enough or fast enough to play basketball, and I transitioned more into football and baseball. I kind of, you know, kind of lost it. I didn't want to say I lost interest. It was just kind of like I kind of watched when it was important,
Mhm. Mhm.
which, you know, out there, like, you know, you got two small markets in the finals this year, and you know I think it's exciting. You know, out there, I don't know what other people think, but
Small market.
yeah, Oklahoma City, media market wise, yeah,
Are
Oklahoma City.
are you calling the Indiana Pacers a small market?
Yes, I am.
So I thought you said you know a little bit about basketball. Cause
Yeah.
yeah, no, sir. That's not a small market. Matter of fact, I'm not, but it's the best.
I, you know, it's the finals. That's I know the teams that are in it. Don't ask me much about the players. I know Tyrese Halliburton and Shea. Those are about the only two players I know.
That's okay. We'll put off for the basketball.
Your audio's getting choppy there.
Are we still choppy?
There we go.
That's all right.
That's perfect.
Okay. What you smoking on?
So I'm smoking on a house blend from getyourcigars.com.
Okay. Never heard of them.
Oh, we got a question in here from Mr. Mims. Wanted to let everyone know small brands have an incredible opportunity to connect in the Dallas market if partnered with Blowin Smoke, but they got to come ready. Oh, I guess that's just more of a statement than a question.
Where? Oh, I see it now.
And
Oh, okay. Yeah, but they got to come ready. I wonder what he means by that. I mean, I know what he means by that, but what you mean by that, sir? Put that in the chat.
Yes, I'm smoking one. I'm smoking one of their house blends, and I dig their house blends. Their house blends are fantastic.
Okay.
So I'm just like I didn't really feel. I wasn't really feeling what I wanted today, so I thought, well, I'll go with just something that I know is consistently good.
Gotcha. I am on Asylum 13. I think it's Nyctophilia. It is 8.5 by 52.
Oof.
So I didn't want to have to cut and light the second cigar. So I was like, okay, let's get this 8.5. It was just sitting in the box. It's like I've been not dreading smoking it, but it's like, okay, you gotta really have some sitting time to smoke this. So
Better than the
what we're
April
on.
Fool. You could have lit up the April Fools.
Yeah, no. A 10-inch cigar, and the ring gauge is like, what is it, 80?
No, it's well, I don't this year I think is 80. Last year was a 10 by 10.
10 by 100?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Mm-mm. How do you even smoke that?
You become a snake and you unhinge your jaw.
Can't even smoke that.
Well,
Mm-mm.
it was like 2007 or 2008 at the Midwest Tobacco Show, and they had one of those gimmick sticks out there, and it was about 3 feet long and about a 60 or 70 ring gauge on it that they just gave you as a gimmick when you walked in. And
Did you say 3 feet?
Yeah, 3 feet, 36 inches. And I said, I'm going to smoke this. And I bailed after 4.5 hours.
And you weren't even halfway through.
I was not even. I was a little bit more than a quarter of the way through. That was it. I had to bail. My mouth hurt.
That can't be enjoyable.
My mouth hurt. My throat and mouth were all dry. I'm just like, I can't do it. I thought it would have been fun to do, and it's just like, no.
That can't be enjoyable.
No. It was not very good anyway. So, but they just gave it to people as they came in as a gimmick.
How can it be good if you're like, there's so much tobacco? It's probably just, chopped in there, and I mean, that's a lot of wasted tobacco.
Well, Ish from Banff has the Moab, which is essentially like this big by like, I don't know, maybe 10 or 12 inches. It's like 5 or 6 inches thick around. He makes it. People smoked it and they love it.
Yeah, no. I'll pass.
Let's see. He said, you know what I mean about coming ready. And it wasn't easy to get in, but once you've come to correct, but her customers will love you. Been partnered for 2.5 years now and love every second of it.
Well, I've loved it too, so that's good. It wasn't easy to get in. These are code. These are code statements. These are code statements.
Yeah. So, you already had your Blowin Smoke Fest for this year?
No, Blowin Smoke Fest is in September.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep it the weekend after Labor Day. I think that's a good time. People traveling for Labor Day, of course, and family trips and things of that nature. So I didn't want to miss the locals with having a great cigar event by competing with other Labor Day festivities. So the last 2 years, that seems to be a good time. It's hot, it's an indoor outdoor event. It is hot, but it's not like June hot. June hot is something different, but it is hot. But no, we had a great time. So that's coming up. That's a huge undertaking. It normally takes a couple months to plan that. At least a good solid 6 weeks to plan it, and especially now one individual. So, like I said, on the separation last year, around this time, was the start of me having to plan it, and then to do it alone. We got it done. We got it done. We had a great crowd. A lot of people came through because it's outside, so they were able to sit outside, then come inside for the musical efforts. We pipe sound to the outdoors, so you're able to hear the DJs, during the cigar vendor segment of the offering, and then come inside and turn up, so to speak, with the party. So no, it was good. I had this year we had 3 companies. I had to scale back in terms of the quantity of companies because I had 5 in year one with manufacturing partners, but scaling back with the quantity, the quality, like the quality of the offering, being able to offer more of their portfolio and have those available. I increased the vendors. I think year one there were 5, non-cigar company vendors, and then this year I went to 8. I want to say so. Very good. It was very good. That's an event. I'm proud of all the events, but to pull something like that off, um, it definitely brings me joy. Just need the community to kind of get behind it, to understand that this is something different. This is new. This is fresh. I also added a day in 2024. So 2023 it was a one day. It was just Saturday, indoor, outdoor, everything that I just spoke about. And then 2024 I added a Friday. I added a Friday night dinner. All ticketed. It's a ticketed event. Added a Friday night dinner, and I had a panel, so something that you would have enjoyed. And I had 3 panelists. So I had 2 owners of manufacturing companies. So definition. So Jamon was here. Then Luciano flew in for that, and then I had Ron Harper. Ron Harper
Oh,
was on the panel, of course. Yeah.
your audio's getting choppy again. Yeah, Ron Harper's a cool dude. I met him for the first time this year at the at a Luciano event. It was fantastic. Such a nice dude.
Yeah.
And that was a
Yeah,
lot
he's very cool. Down to earth. He actually knows his cigar.
I love
That
his
that
cigar's a banger.
Yes, he actually knows about. He had a hand in it in the process. So that was good to see. He wasn't just another athlete like we spoke about before that slapped their name on it. He actually had a chance to, sample and get to the finished product that he wanted. And starting with 1 Vitola, and now I think the underrated is in 4 Vitolas. And I think he has another offering that's coming later this year. So that's really good to see. But he's immersed in tobacco in terms of wanting to learn about it, wanting to meet people. He's touchable. You can reach him. He doesn't sit over there in the corner. How some athletes do, and I'm saying that like I'm not one. I'm not that type of person, but they sit over in a corner like you need a bodyguard to get to him, and he's so down to earth.
Yeah, yeah. He is such a nice dude. Like I was just like, I was just like hi, like waving a hi, and he's like, "Ah, come over here." And then he wanted to have a conversation, and
Yeah,
I was just like, what a nice guy, man. And I was just like, I wish more professional athletes were like that because there's, you know, the handful that are out there that I've met in the that have been in the industry haven't been like that cool. Like Ron Harper was super cool. Ed Reed was so cool.
yes.
Like I was like so blown. Like he just, you know, and I was just walking down the street in New Orleans, leaving the event center, heading back to the hotel room, and I asked him, and I was like, Ed, when are you gonna drop your own stuff out? Because I keep hearing you're doing it, and he's like, I am, but I want he wants to know everything he can possibly know about what he's doing, and he wants to have his hand on it 100% from start to finish before he's willing to put it out there and to put his name on it. And like
Yeah.
I respect that. I'm like, well, that's cool, you know. And he had a couple of testers that he's been working on himself in his free time, but he's like, don't judge me on it. They're a work in process.
Yeah. Now, have you had his cigar?
So I didn't have the one that came out a couple years ago. That one I did not have. What I've had
Okay.
is I had a couple of the testers he gave me.
Okay, of the new cigar.
Of
The
the
new one.
new
Okay.
that he's working on. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, the first one.
I heard that I heard it was really good. Yeah, I didn't get my hands on that one.
I
Yeah,
think
huge.
Placencia blended that one for him. And we know anything Placencia blends is gonna be good.
Yeah. So I have no doubt, you know, and I have no doubt that when he decides he's ready to have his own line out there and drop it, it's going to be like how he played. It's going to be unstoppable. It's going to be a banger for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I wish more athletes were like that out there, you know, but it
Oh
is what it
well.
is. It is what it is.
I think a lot get into let's say they as a hobby they like smoking cigars, maybe playing golf, and then they're like, oh, I want my own cigar. And then realize, okay, this is a lot. And this is not as easy as, you got your name on it. Well, now you have to sit in interviews or maybe show up to events and actually be able to talk about this product and not just stand back, because it's only so long where a cigar is on a shelf and let's say who was that Ocho Cinco that has his face on the box, right? And I know he actually is a connoisseur, he actually does smoke, but that sells only so far.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, is it I get a lot of people asking me, well, when I had Ed Reed cigar in here, it's like, well, is that just another athlete cigar? And I'm like, I understand what you mean. I said, actually, this is a high quality cigar, and he had his hand in it from, from almost the curing, almost from the from what I understand is he actually picked his tobaccos out of the piles. Like they actually put it together, so he had his hand in it from start to finish.
Yeah. It was good. And then you've got the athletes out there like, you know, Ocho Cinco, who just put their name on it.
I think he does smoke though.
He does smoke, but
yeah,
I just, you know, when I talked to him a couple years ago, it was, you know, it seemed like it was just more of I'm putting my name on it, and I'm coming to the events and doing all the stuff, but it didn't really seem like he was 100% into the commitment to it.
Yeah. I'd like to see him at PCA or TPE. To have him walk around, kind of like Carl is always there at PCA with his cigars, and he's actually committed to it. And
I didn't recognize him
this year.
Yeah, when I was standing, I didn't realize he lost all that weight.
Yeah.
I was standing next to him in the urinal. I didn't recognize. I didn't know. And I'm washing my hands, and then like the dude next to me is like, "Dude, can I get a picture with you?" And I'm like, "Why does somebody want to get a
Oh
picture
my
with me?"
God.
And then I looked over, and
Fanboyed him in the bathroom.
yeah, I looked over, and I looked over to a very, very, very tall gentleman. I was like, "Oh shit!" Like I didn't recognize. I didn't recognize it was him. You know, I was like, "Wow, he
Yeah.
lost a lot of weight." And then I got stuck taking the photo outside the bathroom.
Oh, Karl Malone. I thought his cigar is solid. It's solid.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
Yeah.
But again, when you're using stuff from Placencia, it's really hard to make something bad.
I thought he came from La Roa.
Oh, I mean La Aurora. I'm sorry. Yeah,
Yeah,
from
yeah,
La
yeah.
Aurora.
And their
Even
in
then,
their
La Aurora.
factories and farms.
Yeah, even Placencia, La Aurora. It's hard to really make some bad stuff out of what they grow and what they can get. It's it's good stuff. Yeah, La Aurora. We were talking about Placencia earlier, and I got that stuck in my head.
Yeah.
It was Karl Malone, solid stick out there. Yeah,
Solid.
I wish I had a lounge near me that had a lot more of the availability of cigars, but I don't. So, I'm kind of limited in what I can buy around me. So I gotta import my stuff in from the internet.
Really? So no shops there?
I do. I do have. I have one shop in town, but they carry all the big stuff. They don't carry anything small there. So
Right.
and if I want something small, I gotta go to Colorado. But then it's no longer feasible because of the 65% tax in Colorado on a cigar.
65%.
Yeah, compared to here where it's 30 cents a cigar. It's 65% in Colorado. So it doesn't make it now it's taken that cigar and more than doubling the cost on it.
That's crazy. That sounds like California maybe.
It's up there, like they're fighting New York because New York's trying to make it a 90% tax on the tobacco in New York, and California is really expensive, too. But if you buy your stuff, if you're buying from a retail shop in California that has a distributor's license, then you don't have to pay the California tax to have them shipped out to you. But even still, it's not a place I'd want to go and buy a cigar at. It's too expensive. Colorado's gotten that way, so I've kind of gotten limited.
I think that I think we know that's the education.
You're choppy. You're getting choppy again.
How's that sound?
Still choppy.
Well, still choppy.
Still choppy. Oh yeah, Shawan, those are things you may not see a whole lot of on your side of things, but I see it as a consumer, those taxes.
How we sounding now?
Perfect.
I'm sorry. It's AirPods. You
It's
love
all
them and you hate them. You
It's
love them
all
and you hate them. But no, what have so many Texas. We understand we are because there's either none in. I think that Minnesota has a time.
You're getting choppy again. Technology. We will get this sorted out and fixed here shortly, folks.
All right, let's see. How's that?
Sounds good to me.
Okay, so that's computer audio. We'll go with that.
We'll go with that here.
Okay, let's try that. So no, I was just saying how I even read something recently how Minnesota actually has a time limit on smoking. There's apparently like one lounge or a limited amount of lounges and something crazy like 15-20 minute time limit. And yeah, there's a lot going on outside of Texas because we have so many shops, especially in Dallas. I know there's a ton in Houston. Once you get into Austin, kind of thins out, San Antonio as well. But we're blessed here.
I think it's great. I love what they're doing in Texas, and wish more states would follow Texas and Florida's lead, and even Arizona as well.
So you're in New Mexico, right?
Wyoming.
Why did I have New Mexico?
Because I'm from New Mexico.
Okay. Wyoming. Woo. Okay.
Yeah. Born and raised and grew up in New Mexico. And then I moved.
505, that's New Mexico, right?
It is.
Yeah.
So it's dual. It's a homage to where I grew up, born and raised. And then it's also the country code for Nicaragua, my favorite type of tobacco.
Good connection. Great connection.
Yeah. So, yeah. But and more so paying homage to me and where I grew up.
Gotcha.
So yes, and I miss it. I've been here for 10 years after I got transferred with work.
And what city are you in?
I'm in Cheyenne.
Okay.
So I live right on the border with Colorado. I'm about 80 miles north of Denver.
Gotcha. I've been in Wyoming once.
To Laramie?
That's where the university is?
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly where I've been, yeah. And that's about it. Flew in, practice, stayed the night, game, and then flew out type of situation. It was snowing. It was so cold.
Yeah, I miss the desert. I miss the desert completely all the time. It's always windy here. It's cold and snowy in the wintertime. It's just, I miss it. I miss being in New Mexico where if it's the winter and it snows, it's melted by noon and 50 degrees.
That kind of sounds like Texas. We can't get anything to stick here, but it's more ice than snow. And then they shut everything down if
a flurry comes. It's a flirt. Unless you're in like that Amarillo area up there in that upper panhandle, then they're like, it's fine. We're used to it.
Yeah. We'll shut something down in a minute. Snow day. It's like, where's the snow? Talking about a snow day.
When I left Dallas last year and I flew back, like it was nice in Dallas. Out there I was wearing, I was in shorts and a hoodie for most of the time in Dallas, and then I flew back. I landed in Denver in 3 feet of snow.
Mm.
I'm like, I think I'll go back to Dallas. It was nice. It was nice. Yeah. Yeah, I don't much care for living here. I would love to go home if I could.
Well, you've been there 10 years now, sir.
I know. I got a career, so I'm kind of stuck. I got a career and a kid, so I can't really do much now.
Gotcha. And how old is the kiddo?
She'll be 3 in August.
Oh.
My little mini me.
Mini me.
She's a trip, but I love her to death. I don't know. I never planned on being a dad again after I just got the one off the payroll, but I actually enjoy being a dad more now in my 40s, and I think I'm a better dad now than when I was in my 20s.
She probably has you wrapped around her finger.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, I openly admit to it too. I'm a girl dad, and
you're a girl dad.
Girl dad.
I love it.
She's a daddy's girl.
I love it.
August 12th? No, the 23rd.
What's the 12th? Oh, his birthday.
I think that's his birthday.
No, I think he's earlier in the. Maybe it is the 12th. I don't know why I thought it's his anniversary. That's end of July. Yeah.
I know. I tried to get Sean to go to New Orleans, but he's like, "Oh no, we got a cruise planned for our anniversary," and I'm like, "Yeah, come to New Orleans. Nah, you don't need to go on a cruise."
I'll take the cruise, sir.
I know. I guess you got to do those types of things when you're married and in a loving, committed relationship. I'm under no relegations for anything being a single man.
Yeah. Sacrifice. You got to sacrifice. Work-life balance too. Work-life balance. Something
I put my 60 to 70 hours in a week like everybody else does.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, what other events you got coming up here that people can come on out to the lounge and attend?
Well, I spoke about my birthday at the end of this month. I also do, before that, I do a Throwback Thursday series every first and third. Just kind of old school music is generally what we do, just kind of hang out, smoke session. But this third Thursday of this month, I'm going to add a boutique company for cutting light. Lanad Cigars is actually one of my members, my lounge member. He has a cigar. He's had one for a while, but he kind of he switched production, so manufacturing. He switched factories. So he had a hiatus of a couple years, and now it's back. It's really good. Displays in a Maduro and a Sumatra. Those are his two. So we'll do a cut and light with him on Juneteenth, and then the birthday. And then I would like to bring another boutique company in July. I normally bring in boutique companies quarterly. Try to slowly add them in, and add them onto the shelf. But I might do July and then take a break, so to speak, on the calendar in August to prepare for Blowin Smoke Fest. Yeah. Right. And then my anniversary is in November. And I'm turning 7. turning 7 there.
How fun! I recommend everybody go follow the Blowin Smoke Instagram page if you wanna see what kind of vibe and party goes on at the lounge, because you get major FOMO by watching the page. Like, man, that looks like a lot of fun. Look at
Yeah.
everybody's having fun. It's like, oh man, here I am on the couch. Yeah, but if you live in the area and you haven't been, I highly recommend going. I had a great time being my first time going there.
Yeah. A lot of fun, a lot of work. Of course, it takes a lot out of you to plan these events. I think people think you just show up and it's like, oh, event. And it's like, no, I've been working on this for a month. So but yeah, it is a lot of fun. I try to keep it fun, keep it fresh, keep something new. We do have those revolving segments with the karaoke's every Tuesday and things like that. But yeah, I just wanted to bring the community together and then introduce, different cigars and actually put the cigar owners in their face so that they can, have those conversations about the tobaccos, ask any questions about the cigars, know that, hey, this relationship's been cultivated to where these people are actually in the building and you can meet them, come out and meet them. And then we do the parties and all that. We do all of that too. But I'd like to make sure that we continue to grow the knowledge of the tobacco.
I think you do a good job with it, and I think your background with being an educator and teacher and coach play a big part in why your lounge is very successful, especially with some of the events that you put on with the Q&As and the panels out there. I mean, it's a lot of fun, and I think that's one of the I think it's one of the big reasons people keep coming back all the time is because you've always got something fun out there.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Speaking of panel, speaking of panel, we did a women's conference in March for Women's History Month. That was the first time. Partnered with Sheree Wright Smith on that, and that was great. We had a huge turnout. We had a panel, something that you love, of five women, and various backgrounds from a manufacturer to I think marketing and branding expert to someone on Houston Cigar Week committee talking about the planning of that event. We have vendors in the building. So that's an event that I'm looking forward to having every year.
Have you thought about recording those and putting them like up on YouTube or online for people to be able to watch? For somebody like me who can't be there in person.
I haven't thought about the recording. That would be something to think about. I think that would be great. Of course, we had a videographer in the building, so I was able to capture content. I think he made me 3 or 4 events and made 3 or 4 videos of the event, and also was able to capture some of the vendors and have some content up for the vendors. But as far as like a live thing or a re-record, got to figure out how to do that with the noise. You know what I mean? With the people in the background, I have to figure out how to do that.
Okay. Just it's just a thought there. It's like that'd be fun. Fun. I like listening to that type of stuff, and it'd be fun. And here's a replay of it to be able to catch and learn something.
Mm-hmm. Good thought. We'll gotta figure out how to do that one.
Sometimes the hamster gets back on the wheel up there. Doesn't happen often, but occasionally, it starts turning. You can tell with the smoke coming from the ears. There's an idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, very good. appreciated having you on. Anything you'd like to talk about or promote before I end out the show?
No, I think that you said it. Follow Instagram. We're on all platforms: Facebook, X. Follow us there. It's Blowin Smoke Cigar Lounge at Blowin Smoke Cigar Lounge. No G on the blowing. And I put up all events and pretty much post every day. I try to post every day something, but definitely the events are there. And if you're ever in the Dallas area, definitely come by and see me. I'm in the southern sector, about 15 minutes from downtown Dallas, and I'd love to have you. Love to host you and smoke one with you.
And everything Blowin Smoke is down in the description. So if you click on the description and on any of the platforms you're watching on, I've got direct links to everything, website and social media, so you can connect whichever way you would like to. Made it easy for you all, on that. That's awesome. Glad to have you. And next Monday night, got Lou Picatello from Angry Beaver Cigars stopping by. So we'll catch up with Lou, talk about his brand as well as his cigar band artwork that he does for charity, for veterans charities out there. So be a good show. So hope to see you all come back next Monday night. And that's it for this week, folks. Thank you so much for hanging out. Take care. Be safe out there. Don't do anything Edwina and I wouldn't do, because we're sweet boys and girls. All right. We will see you all later. Everybody, thank you so much.